Howdy, guys. It's Quinny. Hope y'all are having a great day today. Because I sure am. Today's video, I think I'll go into detail about my family. Mostly my brother, my sister, and my dad. They're pretty much my world. Like, pretty much everything I care about outside of, the street stuff. Like, they are my everything. And I appreciate them with all my heart. Like, like I said in the previous video, I used to take care of them a lot. Like I used to be the head of the household while my dad was out doing his thing. And pretty much I was like, I guess you could say I was like the father of the house because I took care of my younger siblings. I bought them stuff, I bought them food, I bought them clothes, I bought them anything they wanted, stuff like that. But anyway, here we go. All right, well, first things first, let's start with my younger brother, Jersey. Growing up, he was a really shy person. Like, very, very introverted and antisocial, stuff like that. I noticed that when we would, like, go to places together, like, sometimes I would carry either one of them or both of them to come with me when I went grocery shopping. And like when people would approach me or when people would approach us, he would like hide behind us or like it was adorable to be honest because like he for his age he was like I said he was just really shy. I think it was normal for how he was at his age though. Like I'm glad he grew out of it though, but like it was still funny. It was still kind of funny. But I honestly thought he was scared of society. But basically after that, like when he started getting a little older and a little bit more confident, he started caring more about fitness. He started doing a lot of exercises in his room. He did like push-ups, like pull-ups, you know, sit-ups. Like he would go for jogs around the neighborhood and go for jogs around the building and stuff like that. Like he was really like like I guess you could say self-conscious about his body, so he tried to become as healthy as possible to get his like perfect image of himself. And to his credit, he did a very good job at that because you like when he was around 15 or 16, he had a six pack, he had muscles. Like he wasn't as big as he was now, like he is now, because now he's just bulky. But back then, even back then he had like muscles and abs and stuff. So I remember when I started getting money in the streets, I basically decided, you know what, I'm gonna buy him a weight set. So I bought him some weights, I bought him some dumbbells. Like I even gave him like like one of those lifting presses, and he would use the absolute hell out of them. Like he would basically use and abuse the hell out of that. So I'm glad I did get it for him because like that itself is the reason why he is big and huge as he is now. And like if you didn't know him and you would see him in public, you would think that he was just this big tough guy that would want to punch everything, that would want to freaking bully people. But no, he wasn't like that. He was a soft spoken person. He was a timid person. But like he like I said, he was very just like very a very strong person. He did try and like get into the streets, like because one of his friends like persuaded him to join a gang. It didn't really last long. Like uh he thought it was cool, and then he ended up witnessing a drive-by shooting, and that same friend that persuaded him to join the gang got shot and killed. So he just after that, like he got arrested that night, and he spent like maybe I think 2 or 3 weeks in jail. And then after that, he just was like, yeah, nah, never again. Absolutely, like absolutely not. Which I'm glad he didn't like like do anything crazy, because like my dad even told me once to like he told me to keep Jersey out of the streets because he wasn't built for that. And I'm glad that he learned that like for himself. And like after that, after he got out of jail, he like got a job. Like he got a couple of jobs. Like he did fast food, he was a waiter, but then afterwards he actually got a job at a sushi restaurant working for some other family members that we had. Uh they're distant relatives though. Not super not super close, but they're distant relatives. And he loves it there. He works there to this day. And he makes very good money there. Like they pay well over there. And because of that, through that work, he actually met his boyfriend Asahi, which I like touched on briefly in my previous video. Like I said, he's just like Asahi is a sweetheart, and in my opinion, he is a perfect match for Jersey. Like just a perfect match for him. But after after a while, he made enough money, and then he moved out. Him and Asahi lived together in like their own little apartment, and it's, let's just say, it's way better than the rundown one that we grew up in. It was just it's just perfect, and I'm glad that he got out of there and actually actually is just doing something that he likes, and he's with someone that he loves. Now, to talk about my baby sister Celeste. Growing up, she was the complete opposite of Jersey. While Jersey was introverted, timid, and quiet and shy, Celeste was outgoing. She made a lot of friends. She was extroverted. She was super popular in school, and like she would go out a lot and hang out with them, whether it be around the corner, or she would just go talk to their, like, she would just visit their other parents. The other parents have sleepovers and stuff. Like, she was the more outgoing one out of us. Like, she never brought her friends over to our place, because it wouldn't have went well, because like I'm literally a kid taking care of other kids, and it would have just been chaos. But the thing about her is she was always a very creative she was always a very creative person. Like, she was mostly into like fashion, and she was always interested in like going to the thrift store. Like, she didn't really care for like brand new clothes or anything like that, because at the time, like, everyone had new clothes and stuff like that. She would want to be she wanted to be different. So she went to thrift stores, and she got clothes from the thrift store, because they're dirt cheap. And she would pretty much just like rip them up, cut them up, and then like and the thing about it is she taught herself how to sew, which I didn't even know she did. She taught herself how to sew, and she would sew clothes together to make new clothes. And like, it actually worked. Like, she would go to school just in her own unique style. She was a very unique person. She had her own unique style. So what I did was, for her birthday, I bought her a sewing machine. And when I bought her that sewing machine, she just went off to the races. Like, this girl literally like made her own clothes, because I also bought a bunch of fabric for her too, so she could make her clothes and stuff. She would make shirts, she would make skirts, she would make just anything she could. And she would take them to school. Like, she would wear them to school. Her friends and pretty much everybody at school was looking at her like, because these kids have never seen these clothes anywhere before because these are things that she made. And they were all like, "Where did you get those clothes?" She's like, "Nowhere. I made them." So, she was like, they were asking where because they wanted it. They wanted the clothes that she was wearing. So, what she did, and this was one of the smartest things ever, she started making multiple versions of the clothes that she had, and she would sell them to her classmates. Like, she was literally becoming an entrepreneur, and she started her own clothing business. She sold her clothes to the students at school, and she would make money, and she would make a ton of money for that. And like, she just like basically, she was richer than me. She had more money than me at one point. And then she also saved up enough money to go to fashion school. There was a fashion school in Vermilion City that she went to. She paid, she like saved up enough to pay for it. She went there, she graduated, and she started, she started, or she had a friend of hers start a website for her. It was basically, she gave her clothing brand a name. It was called Spiked. It was called Spiked. She even made the clothes I'm wearing right now, like the jacket with the with the puffy, collar and sleeves, the leggings I'm wearing. She made that. She made all of that. And basically, she became a six-figure darling. She made enough money. She moved out of the apartment too. She lives in Jubilee City now. She lives by the ocean. And like, she lives in this huge apartment. She drives a nice car. She takes care of me and Jersey, and she takes care of our dad too. Like, she's like literally one of the greatest. She's a unique person and one of the most creative people I know. Now to get to my dad, Makoa Pincolo. Fun fact, I don't share the same last name as my dad or my younger siblings because I had me and my siblings have different mothers, and my mother's last name was Harlot, while, they just took the Pincolo name. But anyway, basically growing up, my dad was like a mythical creature. We never really saw him because he was always out all the time handling his business, if you know what I'm saying. Like, it was him and my uncle Vinny, which I will get to like later. But anyway, when on the occasions that he would come back home, he would leave us money, to go out and buy food, groceries, clothes, all of that stuff, pay bills. You know, at least he was gone, but at least he didn't leave us starving. At least he didn't leave us just in the shitter, you know. But like, we would go out, we would hang out and stuff with him, and like when he was home, we would hang out with him. We would go to different places and stuff like that. Well, when my dad got caught, when my dad got caught and was sent to prison for a couple of years, you know, that was when the money that he came. That was when the money started. Like, that was when the money stopped coming in. So that's when I had to get into the streets and do my thing. So, like, because I had to make ends meet for the family. I couldn't just starve because my dad was not in the picture anymore since he went to prison. But we would go to the jail, and we would visit him and check on him and stuff like that. He would call us from prison and stuff like that to keep us in high spirits, saying, "Yeah, trust me, when I get out, I'm going to spend more time with you guys, this, that, and the third." By the time he got out, we were already adults and we already moved out. We already moved out of that apartment into other apartments or into other places. But when he got out, he basically had a stash of money that he left lying around for when he got home. And with that money, he would basically start up businesses, invest in a lot of stuff in Angels Park. And then his main business was that he decided to start up a adult film studio called Spiked and Spunked Studios. No kidding, that's what it was called. He moved to Jubilee City. Basically, he lived around the same area Celeste lived. He made a ton of money off of the videos and stuff that he would record and put online, or sell in sell in adult like film or adult movie locations. Like, he made a ton of money. And he also is friends with the cop that busted him, which is pretty ironic. And they have their own little friends with benefits relationship that, like, I'll probably talk about another time. But it's kind of funny how, you're arresting one person, you're arresting this guy that you've been chasing after for years, and then years later when you get out, you're sleeping with each other. It's pretty funny. But hey, my dad's happy, so I'm happy. Now, that is my siblings and father out of the way. Let's get into the distant relatives. Ergo, my uncle and my cousin. First, we'll talk about my Uncle Vincenzo, or my Uncle Vinny, as we always called him growing up, and still even now. Basically, growing up, he would come by our apartment from time to time, especially when our dad was like away, and he would also leave us like money, and he would buy us some stuff as well. Like, he was that classic cool uncle, that uncle that was a hustler back in the day. And then he would leave his hustling days behind, and he would like, and every time you beat him, he'd give you some life advice, and then he slips you like $10 or $15 or $20 and then leave. Like, he was one of those uncles. He was cool as hell. Even to this day, he's still like that. He was always really flamboyant and extravagant. Like, he was super flashy. He drove in super flashy cars. He always had jewelry, like gold jewelry, like rings, necklaces. He had like $1,000 like shades and stuff like that. He was really flashy with his money. And like, he also has photos where he looked extremely intimidating, but in reality he was also a sweetheart. Fun fact, he was a former underboss for the Echidna mob. And like, that was also cool though, because the Echidna mob used to run through like Vermilion City like crazy. And they used to war with the K9 mob from Gadberry. And like I said, my uncle Vinny was the underboss. But after that war kind of like died down and ended, he would pretty much like join my dad in doing their business. He also got arrested, and sent to jail for a couple of years. He wasn't in there as long as my dad was though, but when he got out, when he got out of jail, he started, he pretty much did the same thing my dad did. He started like businesses, he invested in stuff in like Angels Park. And he mostly did that. He didn't do any of the other extra stuff though. Plus, I did hear that he is affiliated with some other groups too. Like, there's this group called the Phoenix Fangs that I don't really know too much about, but I know he does dealings with them. And he also has a let's just say he also has like really funny relationship with the leader of the Phoenix Fangs. And let's just say, he gets freaky as well. He gets down that way as well, but then again, he still like wears a lot of he's still super flamboyant, and he's very androgynous as well. He's still the cool uncle that I love to death, and I trust me, I wouldn't have it any other way. Now to get to his son, aka my cousin Isaiah. This guy, oh man, he takes after his father, but it's in a bad way. He is one of the most just flashy motherfuckers I know. He's a show off. Like, trust and believe. Like, all of his daddy's money, he just fucking spends and spends and spends. And, like, he buys himself friends. He bought his friends. His friends are only with him because they know that his dad is a former mob boss and he gets money. The girls he's with are with him because, yeah, well, the same reason. But anyway, let me show you, right? Look at this. Look at this man, right? I'm not the one to body shame because look at me. But let me tell you something. He is the same size as me. And this man wears some of the tightest clothes ever. And it is hilarious. Like, this man is, don't get me wrong, like, he's not super old or anything. He's only like 21 years old. But just like I said, he is my size, and I am a big guy. I'm not super huge, but I am a very very big. Like, I am a very, like, let's just say I'm a big guy, and he's pretty much my size. He's just a little bit shorter than me, and he wears some of the tightest clothes ever. Like, this man is built like a baby mama, right? This man is built like a baby mama. Like, he's chubby. He has an ass too. Like, that's what he doesn't understand. He has an ass on him. Like, and his ass is almost as big as mine, even though it's not really as big as mine because I have a fatty back there. But anyway, yeah, bro literally looks like he could get, like, he could just get somebody, some guy could just come up to him and seduce him, but he swears that he's straight. And it's really cute that he thinks he's straight when, like, I heard some of the, like, I guess you could say I heard some of the rumors about the girl. I know a lot of the girls that, like, he hooks up with. Like, he hooks up with a lot of girls, and, like, they have some embarrassing stories about him that I'm not gonna talk about here because I'm not gonna put my cousin on the hot seat like that because that would be kind of lame. But yeah, but anyway, he also goes to, like, car meets and stuff like that, even though he really doesn't drive. Like, he has a friend drive him who is in the cars. He just goes he pretty much just goes there to pick up girls. That's pretty much it. Like, like I said, he's a show off. He still lives with his dad. He spends his dad's money, and he pretty much just that's all he really does. He doesn't do any dirt in the streets, which is a good thing because he wouldn't survive a minute in the streets. He's pretty much just home safe in his little world. But hey, I prefer him doing that than being anywhere near the streets. Well, that pretty much covers most of my family members. Like, I know that, I do have more family, but I'll probably talk about them in, like, a future video or something like that because there's a lot of other topics that I want to talk about and a lot of other people that I want to talk about. Like I said, it's going to be a while, but I'll get to them when I get to them. But I think for the next video, I'm probably going to talk about the gang. I'm probably going to talk about the Harlots, which is going to be very exciting for me because telling their stories is going to be super fun. I promise you. And you're going to love them. I promise you, you're going to love them. But anyway, that's about it. I'll see you guys later. Stay pretty, my harlots.